Now, I've made multiple videos explaining the price of all my cosplays and you guys seem to really enjoy them. So today we're back with another one explaining how much did I really spend on my Ekko cosplay. Again, like in those videos, I'll be comparing making the cosplay yourself rather than going to places like Etsy and eBay where the prices are very hiked up and expensive. And without further ado, let's get right into it. This video is going to be categorized into 3 sections. First things first, we're going to talk about how much did I spend making the 3D printed parts. Then we're going to move on to how much did I spend on the clothes. Then finally, we're going to talk about how much did I spend on all the accessories. So starting it off, I have the actual helmet right here. It only took 1 roll of filament to make this entire helmet, and that 1 roll of filament costed me $20. Filament usually likes to fluctuate up or down. Sometimes it could be $25 and sometimes it could be $15, but most of the time you're paying $20 a flat rate for a roll of filament. Then moving on, I used 4 cans of paints. Those 4 cans of paints cost me $28 from the primer to the all the actual main paints that I actually used. Then moving on from that, I have the sandpaper. Now for the sandpaper, I paid $22 for the entire thing. I will use that for the rest of the project because I used all those sandpapers in those boxes for the entire project. So $22 is for all of that. Then last but not least, we have the frog tape, the masking tape I used to get the gold and the white onto the helmet together. For that masking tape, I paid only $8, and that masking tape lasted me so long. So that's also going to roll over because I used it for everything else during this entire project. So putting all that together, my total for this Ekko helmet came out to be $78. Now, comparing that from between Etsy and eBay, I have one for $154, I have another one for $144, and I have another one for $114. All 3 of those are almost double the price of what you would actually pay if you just made it all yourself. So I highly recommend in every single one of these videos that you at least try to make it yourself or try to 3D print it. Now, I do not have a problem if you don't feel like making it and do not feel like doing all that and you want to pay for a high quality Ekko mask or any type of prop that you would need, because these people's props are very high quality. You will be getting for what you paid for, but I'm saying it'll be way cheaper to just learn the hobby yourself, and you can get a hobby out of it and you could just make it yourself for way cheaper. Now moving on, we have the mace. It only took 1 roll of filament to actually make the entire thing, so I only spent $20 on a flat rate. For all the cans of paint that I used 6 cans of paint. It took $42 for all the paints. I used the white gloss, the primer, the satin, the black gloss, the gold. All of that took $42, and that was basically it for the entire thing. I will get into all the adhesives like the Loctite and the E6000 towards the end of the 3D printing section. So for now, just those 2 prices is all it took for this mace. Now adding that total up, I have $62 for the entirety of the mace. Now going on Etsy and eBay yet again, I found one for $268. That is, I don't even know how many times that is that you'll be paying rather than paying the $62 just to make the entire mace yourself. That is insane. Now credit to this guy because his mace looks absolutely amazing. I am not dissing the way his mace looks or anything like that. I'm just saying a lot of people do not have $268 to spend on a prop like that, and if you do, you got it. You balling. If you were to make this mace yourself, you'll only be spending $62. That's it. And if you have rollovers of paints and all the other materials that you would have, it'll be even cheaper than that. So I highly recommend you just make it yourself. Now, last but not least, we got the entirety of the hoverboard. First things first, for the filament, again, I used 3 rolls of filament just because there were so many gigantic pieces that I had to print out. It took a lot of filament. It drained, and the failures I have with multiple different pieces, it drained the amount of filament that I used. So I spent $60 on filament alone. Next, we have all the paints. I used 8 cans of paints. All 8 of those cans of paints took me $56 for each and every single one of those paints. Didn't roll over because most of the time I had to refill the paints and I had to buy duplicates of paints that I used for the other 3D print, like the mace and the helmet. I had to reuse multiple different paints, ran out of a lot of them, and I had to buy more. So it took me $56 for those. I used graphite powder for the actual grip pieces on the hoverboard. So for that graphite powder, it took $20 for that, but my brother gave it to me, so it was free. But if you were doing this fresh, I'm counting it all fresh, it would take you $20 for the graphite powder. I used the paint pen. For that paint pen, I spent another $7. So all in all, the entirety total of the entire hoverboard would cost you $143 if you were to do it all. Now going on Etsy and eBay, I found only one, and this one costed $480. Now, funny story, this is the guy that I based my whole colorway off of and the entire way that I made this hoverboard, and I spent $143. He's charging $480. Now his looks amazing. I based my whole entire thing off him. I highly recommend going to him. If you have $500 to spend on a hoverboard, go to him because he makes it amazing if you don't want to make it yourself. But if you were to make it yourself, you'll be saving yourself over $300, and that is insane. Now moving on, we're on to the clothes part of it. First things first, we have the main jacket. Now for this main Ekko jacket, I spent $170 at Celebrity Jackets. I spent $170 for the main jacket of this. It is a very, very high quality and good jacket. They sell a lot of great jackets. It's not a promo for them, but they do sell a lot of good jackets. They sell Dante jackets that my friend bought. My brother uses the DMB jacket that they have. I use the Ekko jacket. They have Red Hood jackets. So they have a lot of good jackets, and I spent $170 on that. Now moving on, we have this scarf. Ekko has the orange scarf. I needed an orange scarf for the cosplay, so I spent $34 on Necklush. Necklush has different scarves and stuff just for normal wear, and I found the perfect orange scarf that I needed for this cosplay. Going from that, I went to Target. You know how I be. Y'all know how I be, man. I went to Target, got me a white beater, you know, $20 pack of 4 white beaters. Can't go wrong. I think this is Hanes. No, this is Goodfellow. What y'all know about Goodfellow, bro? Goodfellow or Hanes? Put in the comments down below. Goodfellow or Hanes? Talk to me. But I got this $20 pack of 4. Nothing crazy. Moving on from that, we have the actual apron. I got this from 1620 Workwear, I think it's called. They sell like dad stuff, you know, some blue collar stuff, you know, mowing the lawn, construction, you know, welding, just real gritty work. Get your hands dirty. But I got the apron painted on this. My brother actually painted on the symbol. I got the actual apron from them. It cost me $54 for that entire apron. And last but not least, actually not last but not least, but we do have these pants. Amazon, you know, pirate pants. $28 for these. Nothing too crazy. My brother wore this as well. He told me to get these. My brother basically my costume designer at this point, bro. It's crazy. This was $28. And then last but not least, now we have the boots. I got these boots from Amazon for $190. I had the splurge. Now y'all might be saying, why would you spend $190 on some damn boots, bro? Are you serious? These were, come on, these were the best boots. Tell me these are not Ekko's boots. Tell me these are not Ekko's boots right now. But I spent $190 on that, and that was all I spent for the entirety of the clothes. That was all I spent. Like, I didn't spend nothing. I spent a lot on the clothes. I spent more on the clothes than I did on the actual 3D printing, and we never see that on any of these price videos. So that is crazy to think about and to see. Now, adding that all up, the total comes out to be $496. Oh my gosh, that is the whole total. It wouldn't have been that bad if it wasn't the jacket and the boots. Those are the main parts that made it that bad. But come on, you had to get his iconic boots and his iconic jacket. Come on, the jacket kind of makes the fit. You gotta have a hard jacket. The boots, I can't really explain for that. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, please don't. Hey, somebody, financial advisor, I don't know, my funds. I'm sorry, but $496 is insane. We never see the clothes being more than the props. This is rare, and each and every one of these videos, I never see the clothes being more than the props, and that is insane. Now, last but not least, we got the accessories of the entire cosplay. Starting it off, I got these like leather buckles, knee buckles, ankle buckles, whatever you want to call them, from Amazon. They were $28 for a pack of 4. They're honestly really good quality. Like, if I ever need buckles for another cosplay, I'll definitely go back to them. They have different colorways, so these were very good and very simple. Moving on, I got these gloves off of Amazon as well for $20. I had the hand paint lying around, so I just hand painted this to give it that metal look that he has on his gloves. And then I used these gloves, tactical gloves, nothing too crazy on that. Moving on from that, I bought this for $8, just a file. Every single piece of this is all rollovers. I had extra materials laying around for all of this. It was only $8 for the file, and that was it for his little knee pad. And then last but not least, again, we have this weightlifting belt. For this belt, I spent $28, I believe, on this. Nothing too crazy, just a weightlifting belt. I plan on making it an actual Ekko belt in the future with the pouches and the little metal like clip on there, and making it a full transformation of an Ekko belt. But for now, I just have this weightlifting belt. That weightlifting belt was actually $26, but now for the grand total of all those accessories, it comes out to $82. $82. Not too bad. I was kind of expecting it to be that range for all those accessories. Pretty cheap coming from the accessories that I actually needed, and nothing too crazy on that. Moving on. And now for a little bit of a bonus, I have the Loctite here that I use, the entire Loctite. I highly recommend Loctite in every single one of my videos. Again, Loctite. I've been looking for a sponsor from y'all. I will not mind no free Loctite because I love y'all and I will not stop using this. Give me that free sponsorship. I love you guys. Loctite, before this Loctite, it was $8 for this, and then for the E6000 epoxy that I use, it was also another $8, so $16 for both of those, and I'll add that to the grand total at the end of the video coming up now. Now for the grand total of my Ekko Cosplay, can I get a drum roll, please? $857 and $877 if you didn't get the Loctite for free. But $857 is the amount of money that I basically spent on this cosplay. Now with rollovers, it'll dumb it down even more. It probably would have been around $600 without the rollovers, but that's still insane. This is easily my most expensive cosplay yet, and that is wild. Do I regret it? No, not at all. The main pieces that were expensive was the clothes, because I had to find a good jacket and I had to find good boots. I could have cheaped out on that and spent less money, and then all the hoverboard and all the 3D printed parts itself was very, very expensive. So that's where the money is mainly coming from, but that is insane. This is my most expensive cosplay yet, and I say this in every video. I don't regret it because this hobby is very, very fun, and I knew what I was doing or what I was going to get into getting into this, so I don't regret it at all. That is insane though. $857, a pure pain down the drain. My pockets are empty, bro. Are you serious? So Loctite, hey, Loctite though. You see how I spent $800 on this cosplay, so I know y'all can hook me up with a sponsorship of free Loctite. I know y'all can. Come on, man. I love y'all. That's gonna do it for this video. A longer video of the most famous series on this channel that y'all love, because y'all love seeing me break my bank and seeing my pockets hurt for some reason. That's gonna do it for this video. This is the 5th video of this series. I did not make it in the June subathon, DB subathon that I called it. I did not make it in that time frame, but I told you it'll leak in a little bit of August. This is the 5th video, the last video. Don't worry, I have more content coming. I'm working on a whole new project, and when y'all see this project, y'all are gonna be like, why didn't he do this sooner? He should have been did this. Stay tuned for that. I got some more stuff on the way. Follow my Instagram if you want to see updates on cosplays and different stuff that I'm working on, because most of the time it gets on the Instagram before it pops up on the YouTube. Follow that if you want sneak peeks, updates, anything like that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, I love you guys. This channel would not be possible if it wasn't for y'all, because again, y'all motivate me to keep going, to keep grinding, and to keep cranking these videos out for y'all, and I will not stop doing it. So with that being said, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, your night, whenever y'all motherfuckers is watching this video, and as always, keep designing, making, and building, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.